What's in your
Hey everybody, it's Big E. Welcome to Big E's YouTube channel. And it probably looks like I'm hanging on my head because we're underneath the turd right now. We're going to work on that flywheel swap. So I'm just kind of getting stuff set up for it. You ever go underneath to do something, but you find 25 little things that just agitate you? That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I was fixing those. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start this flywheel swap. It's probably be a couple parts deal. Might be a two-parter because there's just so much involved. I'm going to show you the flywheel, or the flex plate, I mean, that we're taking off. As you can see here, see if I can show you with the camera. Let me switch hands here. So these here, wait a minute, are okay. You get here, not so good. See how this is chipped out? They're not straight across. You see how it's gouged out. I'm trying to I have to think backwards here with my finger, and it's not working well. But you get the gist of what's happening here. These are all chewed up from the other starter that decided to be a dentist and remove these teeth. So I checked the starter. The starter I have in it's a cheapy Amazon $50 high torque starter, which is great. What started this problem was, believe it or not, this is gonna sound weird. I was having a charging issue, and the battery wasn't fully charged, so I wasn't getting full voltage to the starter, so the starter wouldn't fully engage. And I think that's what started. So I got this alternator and other stuff figured out. But now it's getting the aftermath figured out. So now that you guys see the damage, we're going to take a tour. I don't have a creeper. So we already checked here with the U-joints and stuff. Nothing's hitting in the drive shaft loop here. So we're looking at that. We're looking down here. We have to grease the torque arm. We're back here at the back joint. So what you want to do, if you're going to take the drive shaft out, obviously put your car up on stands, your truck, whatever you're working on. Do yourself a favor. Now we have the linkage. We have the linkage. I don't know if you can see it up there, but it's disconnected. Right there. I had to adjust it, but not have it disconnected. So we're going to double check that when we fire this back up. But we have the linkage disconnected, and the arm there, we have that pull. That goes to the transmission. We have that in neutral. So that way we can turn this drive shaft, a little harder than I thought. So we went ahead and I used a 14 millimeter. So we're going to go ahead and take these off, and then I have to turn the drive shaft 180 degrees so that way I can get to the ones on the other side. Now this takes a little bit because obviously the nuts and the straps here that they use to hold in the U-joint are fine thread. For obvious reasons, because of vibration and other stuff. And the scary part was when I checked this, they were kind of loose. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise that I'm doing this. So we're going to go ahead, if I can grab the wrench here, and we're going to just... Actually, I think I'm going wrong here. You have to do it by feel. There we go. And then we're going to get the other one to loosen that up as well. Realizing I got a lot of maintenance to do on this car even after this is done, but I figure I'll address that when we reassemble it. So this is actually a strange rear, a U.S. strange rear. So therefore, this is not what you're going to run across a stock if you're doing a stock deal. So I'm going to try and pop this out to show you. This is what they use. They use like a U-bolt with like a flat deal on it, and there's your fine thread on that. So, and then you use the lock washer and the nut when you hold it, back, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'll give a couple tips here because I'm going to pause this. At your slip joint here, when you pull the drive shaft out, you're going to get oil coming out of this seal a little bit. So we're going to put a drain pan under there. And then we're going to do a little trick once we get it out. Because once you pull these out, your caps will come off your U-joints. And you don't want that unless you're, an 11-year-old Asian kid who's working in a Chinese sweatshop who makes 35 of these an hour. You're not going to be able to get those needle bearings back in. So you want to keep that all together. So I'll show you a little trick with that when I come back. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish removing this drive shaft. Alright, it's Big E, I'm back. So we got the drive shaft out. Now I'm going to show you that little trick to do. When you have the drive shaft down. Now these are the end caps I'm talking about. Okay? Also would be a good time, let's try and remember when we reassemble, there is a grease zerk here, so maybe we should put a couple squirts of grease in there. Also, if you're doing this project, it would be a good time to have a beverage, adult beverage of your choice, to help you deal with this. Okay, now, like I said, unless you're an 11-year-old Asian boy trying to work in a sweatshop, these could come apart. So what I recommend doing is getting some tape like this and just trying your best, it's hard to do, wrap it on itself. So that way your end caps don't come apart and have... Hey, are you going to come back and do that again? My wife's being hilarious right now. Where's she at? Go ahead, do your little thing for the people. Now you know why I'm fucked up. Thank you. That was our entertainment for today. Okay, so we got this wrapped in tape. The U-joint. The front one we don't need to do because I'm going to show that's a slip joint. So everything's all pressed into place. But this will help that doesn't come apart. So we got to move on to the transmission, which I'm going to climb underneath and try and figure out a plan of attack for that. When I come back, we're going to dive into that. But I think we're going to remove the mounting bolt, and we got to remove the cross member. And then we have to work on the bell housing bolts and the trans cooler line. So I'm going to work on that, and when I get back, we're going to go ahead and step over that. Alright, it's Big E. So I probably should start this section under the car because I got to climb under, show you guys what's going on. But made some progress here. Let's do some. I don't have a creeper, so I'm working back. Okay, so it's hard to see up in there, but there's one flex plate bolt. The torque converter's away. As you can see, we have the torque converter bolts are out. The bell housing bolts are out. So the transmission right now is separated from the engine. It's being held by the jack. Block of wood, make sure mandatory. If not, if you just use the jack, you're going to put a hole in your oil pan. So we also removed, let me get out here a minute. There's the drive shaft. We removed the cross member here. And also had to unbolt the the trans mount here, which bolts to the cross member. So with the Jag, we were able to shift. We were able to shift the transmission back maybe like an inch and a quarter, which is all you need. So I'm hoping I can get in there, and when we get back, I'm hoping to have the new flex plate on, and we'll take a look at everything there. All right, see you in a little bit. Hey, it's Big E. So we got the flex plates out here. I'm pausing my camera today, guys. Bear with me on this. I don't know if you can. So this is the one that was taken out, and I was looking at it. It's got multiple spots. I'm trying to. There's some teeth damaged. Let me look here. There's a spot that's really bad on here that's damaged right here. Let me flip this around, show you guys. And you can see there's some damage there and some other stuff. So. Okay. So this is the new one. It's a TCI unit. It's upside down, sorry. It's an SFI approved one. And if anybody has a LT1, it's a 153 tooth flywheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this in the car, and then when I come back, we're gonna see how everything is and try and get the transmission at least bolted up today. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, it's Big E here. So as you can see, we got the new flex plate. The TCI flex plate is now. Now we go to bolting up the torque converter. The transmission, as you can see the dowel coming out of the back of the engine block, which goes into there. Put the transmission in place, and the drive shaft and stuff. But that's how you do the flex plate. That's what I'm going to show in this video. So I'll make this part one. So I'm going to work on getting the transmission and drive shaft in, and then when I'll do a part two where we do a fire up and test it out. Because remember, we got to check the adjustment on the shifter. So that's it for today. Like and subscribe. Watch out for each other. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time on Big E's.